Secretary, what role does the Department of Tourism play in supporting and promoting the goal of ushering a new era of MICE Philippines, one that positions the country as the premier MICE destination?
The Department of Tourism expresses its full and unequivocal support to both TPB and Clark, as well as all of our private sector partners in the development of MICE in the Philippines, recognizing that this sector is only poised to grow even further in terms of the visitor receipts that it can bring to the country, as well as in elevating the Philippines as a MICE tourism destination. Under the National Tourism Development Plan, approved by our President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., there is a comprehensive approach towards developing the tourism industry, which includes, of course, MICE. One of the greatest challenges in bringing tourists, delegates, travelers to conventions is infrastructure. And that is why our President has directed collaborations and convergences among our fellow government agencies to vastly improve infrastructure and connectivity, which assures that accessibility by our convention delegates to the destinations that offer MICE would be as convenient as possible. That includes the improvement of roads with over 300 kilometers cemented, expanded, and rehabilitated under the Marcos administration in 2023 alone, the construction of new bridges, and of course, the expansion of our airport portfolio, especially through the mode of public-private partnerships. Clark, in particular, is very special in that it hosts what is now Asia's best airport under the 5 million category for 2023. And this is exactly the type of infrastructure development that our president envisions for the rest of the country, especially those that we have earmarked as potential MICE destinations. Policy frameworks are also very important to ensure that the ease of coming into the Philippines is the burden rather is lessened. And that is why with our recent announcement by the President of the implementation of electronic visas, especially for the Indian market, is a very welcome development. Of course, the Department of Tourism continues its strategic collaborations with potential markets for MICE events. Specifically, we signed recently a memorandum of cooperation on tourism with Qatar when the Amir was here, identifying business events as a priority sector for coordination with Qatar. This is similar to the memorandum of cooperation that we signed recently with Brunei, and we foresee the expansion of existing partnerships with countries like South Korea, Japan, and of course the United States, which makes up our top source markets, as very attractive markets for the further expansion of MICE tourism.
How does the Philippines balance being both a business and leisure destination for MICE travelers?
You know, when you ask how you balance something, it is always in the context of a struggle. For mothers, for example, how do you balance your work life with your family life? But for the Philippines, we don't see it as a struggle or a challenge, but rather a vast opportunity. Considering that the Philippines is not only able to host conventions, it is also able to offer pre and post tours that you will find nowhere else in the world. And so there is a very complementary climate for MICE in the Philippines, in that not only are we able to provide business events, but also we are able to provide unforgettable experiences through the destinations that our delegates and tourists can visit prior to their conventions and after. And it's really this wide portfolio of assets in terms of what we are able to offer that we find to be a major advantage for the Philippines, not to mention our greatest asset, which are our Filipino tourism workers. We are a young population with proficiency for English, and as well as a very highly educated and highly skilled workforce that's able to ensure that we're able to give the fullest support for any events that are held in the country.
What measures are being implemented to ensure the safety and security of MICE travelers in the Philippines?
Overall, the safety and security of tourists in the Philippines is a priority agenda of the Marcos administration. This is evinced by our continued collaboration with the Department of Interior and Local Government in terms of the training of our tourist police, of which there have been over 7,800 trained. We have since expanded this program not only to include our uniformed personnel in tourist destinations, but as well as our police auxiliary forces in our local government units, so that wherever you may be, especially in the densely populated tourist areas, our tourists will always have someone to turn to that is very well trained to handle security situations. Not only that, our president's focus on maintaining peace and security has also assured that journeys across the Philippines assure safety. And in case there are any occurrences that might ensue, we have put up the Tourist Assistance Call Center, a first for the country, a number that you can call 151 Tour for any information assistance, security assistance, or medical assistance that you may have. Physically, we have also constructed infrastructure to ensure that the journey of our tourists is as convenient as possible, in that we now have 10 tourist rest areas all over the country, with at least 22 more to be constructed for 2024. I say at least because the number is growing by the day. And through these tourist rest areas, not only will our tourists have a physical building to go to while they're going from one destination to the next, but also a repository of information about the destination, a place where they can take rest, convenient amenities, restrooms, and pasalubong center for our tourists. Overall, we have made very clear that as much as we are campaigning for the world to love the Philippines, we are also working as hard as we can to make our tourists feel loved.